So here we are. We are on Tehillim Yud Gimel Pasuk Dalet. Habita aneni Hashem. Look, Hashem, look, habita. Don't ignore me. Hashem, Elohai, my God, ha'ira enai. Enlighten my eyes. Peni shanam mavet, lest I slumber, I sleep into death. Pen yomar oivi, lest my enemies say, Yechaltiv, I have overcome him. Tsarai, lest my tormentors, Yagilu, rejoice, ki emot, when I falter, when I fall down. Va'ani, wow, what is a beautiful pasuk, this last one. It's Shlomo Kalabach made it into a beautiful nigun. Va'ani bechazdecha batachti yageli bishuatecha. He made it into a beautiful nigun. Vani bechazdecha batachti. I trust in your chesed, in your loving kindness. Yagel libi, my heart will be rejoice. Bishuatecha, in your salvation. Ashir al Adonai, I will sing to Hashem, ki gamal alai, because He has dealt kindly with me. Right? So the Malbim explains that Gila refers to a sudden unexpected piece of good news which one never even dared to hope. That is Gila. Right? It's different to Simcha. Simcha is rejoicing. Gila is, I never expected it, boom, and it hits you, something good news. This is Yagel libi bishuatecha, because, Yeshuat Hashem kecheref ayin. That the Yeshua of Hashem comes like a cheref ayin. Comes like a cheref ayin. Right? Do you know what that word is in English? That's called a bonanza. That word, when a sudden simcha, joy comes, it's called a bonanza. That's what they called it, the bonanza. Remember that show, TV show, Bonanza? And Bonanza, there was also stores that have good news, good sales. Bonanza, oh, Bonanza. So Bonanza is Gila. Ashir el Hashem ki gamal alai. Okay, now we finished Yud Gimel. We're going to go to Yud Daled. Yud Daled, number 14, is a mizmor dedicated, and 53, Nun Gimel, 53, 14 and 53, these two Tehillim, they deal with the same thing, which is what? The destruction of the first temple. Who destroyed the first temple? Nebuchadnezzar. Yeah? The Babylonians. The second one, 53, deals with the second destruction of the second Bet HaMikdash. by Titus, the Romans. So that's 14. 14, this one, deals with the destruction of the temple of Nebuchadnezzar. And 53 deals with the destruction of the second temple by Titus the Roman. Right? Okay. Malbim says that here this one also alludes to Sanjerib. Tiene que cerrar porque hace mucho ruido. Mucho ruido. This is Nebuchadnezzar. This is to Sanjerib. Sanjerib was the one that took the 10 tribes to Syria in the time of Chizkiyahu. Right? This is the Haftarah at the last day of Pesach. Right? And here David is talking in the first Psalm about that. He's talking about, you know what happened? You know the story with Sanjerib. That at the time, Chizkiyahu, you know, Chizkiyahu was a big tzaddik. He was the king of Israel, of Yehuda. He was descendant of David. Chizkiyahu was a big tzaddik. In fact, he was Mashiach ben David. But they were not zocheh to have that generation was not zocheh to have him become the Mashiach. But he was the Mashiach in potential. You see? In every generation we have somebody who is in potential to be the Mashiach. But the Mashiach is not about the person, it's about the process. So if the process is not happening, because we don't have zechut, then Mashiach keeps going and he dies. The next generation, another Mashiach, somebody else will come. Until we're zocheh. But in every generation there's somebody who is potentially going to be crowned as Mashiach ben David. So Chizkiyahu was that, and Sanjerib, who was the Assyrian general, you know, at the time, prince, he besieged Jerusalem, and he was going to attack Jerusalem. And Chizkiyahu, you know, it says, the Gemara says an interesting thing. There were 3 leaders. I don't remember who were the first 2. One prayed. One didn't pray. One prayed and was saved. I think it was David HaMelech. Then there was another king, 3 kings. Another king, I don't remember who it was. And he didn't pray, but he sat in meditation. And Hashem saved him. And the third one was Chizkiyahu, who went to sleep, and Hashem saved him. Because he had such bitachon, such trust in Hashem, such emunah, that he went to sleep and Hashem saved him. He prayed before to Hashem, then he went to sleep, and Hashem in his sleep saved him. What happened? Sanjerib came with 250,000 soldiers, 300,000 soldiers, yeah? And that night they camped. The next day they were going to attack Jerusalem. Yeah? Hashem sent a malach, an angel, and slaughtered the 300,000. To the last one. Say Haftarah in Yeshayahu. We say the last day of Pesach. But what Sanjerib did do, he took the 10 tribes. He didn't take Yehuda. Yehuda was saved, you know, and Binyamin. But the other 10 tribes, he came back for them and he slaughtered them and took them, because the king was not a tzaddik, you know, and those 10 tribes were lost till today. You see. So that's what this Tehillim is about. So let's get into it. Yud Daled Lamnasech le David Amar Naval Belibo En Elohim. The degraded man, the Naval. Naval means degraded. Right? Naval. But Naval is also the name is also a name of one of the Reshaim. Right? Naval. Ibn Ezra says this is a kind of person that is foolish. It's the opposite of a wise person. Naval, Navol, Tivol. This is what Yitro said. You shall surely pass. You'll wither. You'll disappear. Which is what happens to the Reshaim. You know that? That the Reshaims disappear. And a person who's dedicated his life completely to be a Rasha, somebody like Hitler, for example, right? Or even if he was Jewish, but he was a Rasha too. Like, for example, we have Doegay Domi en lo halek le'olam haba. He also disappeared. But before they disappear, they have to suffer. They go to Gehinam and suffer. Why? Because they have to pay for all the pleasure they took. No? What about all the pleasure they took and everything good they had in life? They have to pay for it. So they go to Gehinam. And then they disappear. Naval is that kind of person. What did Navol Tibol? That's what Yitro says. He told Moshe, if you stand here judging everybody, Navol Tibol, you're going to disappear. You're going to wither. You can't stand it. You know. It's like the rabbi here. Everybody comes and question, bothering you, but don't leave you alone. You know? I have two guys in my daily minyan. Two guys that drive me crazy. Crazy. Every day they have a comment, every day they have a complaint, and if not, at best, they have a suggestion. You know the suggestion? Persians they're very good for suggestion, but we don't have a suggestion box. I said to the president, why don't you put a suggestion box? He says, what do you want a suggestion box? I said, maybe they leave me alone. Put all the suggestion in the suggestion box. Oh, Rabbi, I have a suggestion. Why don't you do this? That's if they're good. At the worst, picking and complaining, and like the news, like the news, They pick. The only good news is the bad news. They pick. Why don't you send food to Gaza? They're starving. Haram, it's what you're doing. You're killing the Palestinians. Send food to Gaza. You don't send food to Gaza. Okay, now Trump said 7 million meals. No. Why were they distributed this way? It's a bad way to be distributed. They should have been distributed by the UN. They knew. You don't know. He said, but you were complaining that you don't have. Now you have. Now it's not good. When it's not good, when we do it good, what are you going to complain? Too much salt in the food. You didn't give them meat. You did anything, all the time. So I said, Hashem, this is a test. This is a test. Hashem is testing me. Because He's testing me to see if I'm going to get angry with them, if I'm going to snap at them, if I'm going to lose it, And I try to do like begging, every time there was a wave, I go down, the wave go. What is this? I don't know. I don't know why. You tell him. This guy doesn't like the Hagbah be too high. Why Hagbah so high? Asur should be low. I said, oh yeah. You tell him. Now they get a little more chutzpahdik. No, you're the rabbi. You tell him. You're the rabbi. You get more chutzpahdik. So I didn't know. That's my job. It's not in my job description. And I laugh. And they get upset. But you can't let it get upset. But Moshe Rabbeinu, Yitro said, you people are going to drive you nuts. You're going to wither. Wither. You know what's to wither? When a person gets sick and get old, he's withering away. Nothing is left. Person has shalom, has cancer, he becomes... Nothing is wither. That's to wither away. Navol, tivol. Naval. Naval means also, in Hebrew, modern Hebrew, a nevela, naval azot. It's a low life. This low life. It's a low life. So he says, Belibo en Elohim, there's no God. God doesn't exist. Ishchitu. Ishchitu, right? By the way, here is referring to the king of Babylon, Nebuchadnezzar. Elea al bamotai avadame le'elyon. Right? That's what Nebuchadnezzar, like Ishayahu, Isaiah says, I'll go up to the heights of the clouds, or it will be like the Most High. They thought that they were gods, these kings, were really gods, divine. With gold and gold. I'm divine, You know that in all the palaces of the kings, for example, if you go to Buckingham Palace, there's no toilets. Because the king is like God, he doesn't need a toilet. So they're hidden in the secret. You have to the door open. Paro was like that. Paro would say, I am God. I'm like, never go to the bathroom. And then he would go early in the morning to the Nilus. You know the Midrash. And Moshe Rabbeinu came, before he hit it with a dam, he caught him going to the toilet. He said, but you were a God. What happened? You see? Caesar was like the God. He's appointed by God. The king is crowned by, the archbishop. Or, except Napoleon. Napoleon, he took it from the Pope and put it on his head. That was famous, There's a picture of that beautiful painting was done. Napoleon took the crown from the Pope and put it on his head. He wouldn't let the Pope put it on him. He's like, I am God. You see? These are the kings, they have gava too much. And they say like, I am like God, Nebuchadnezzar was like this. Nebuchadnezzar, he thought, and he put on the bigdei kehuna, Achashverosh. Achashverosh, he was the king, he put on the bigdei kehuna. He became the begadim of the Kohen Gadol. I am like God, right? And then the writing was on the wall. Daniel told him, look, the writing is on the wall. That's a famous saying. The writing is on the wall. That you are going to fall as the king, the minute he put on, right? And the Seudah of the Jews of Purim, they were there when Nebuchadnezzar put on Bigdei Kehuna. And the food was glad kosher, Simon was the caterer, I believe. They had sushi, they had everything, glad kosher. Seudah of Ahashverosh. So why they got punished? It's because the Jews saw wearing the Bigdei Kehuna. And you stand there eating and drinking like it's a wedding with the sushi. They go wild with the sushi. And except Daniel, he was there, and Daniel said a miracle came and writing came on the wall. And Daniel told Ahashverosh, or he told Nebuchadnezzar that it would be, his downfall. And then they threw him into the lions, Daniel. But the lions wouldn't eat him. Like the scorpions and the snakes. Of course, what are they going to eat? A tzaddik? But animals are sensitive. So, this is the Naval. They make themselves into gods, you see? They make themselves into gods. So, Ishchitu it'ivu alila. They acted despicably. Right? En oseh tov. No one does good. It means both Nebuchadnezzar and his people. En oseh tov. Hashem, bet now, Hashem mishamayim ishkif al bnei Adam. But you say, somebody asked me, why is Hashem let this thing happen? Hashem is looking, ishkif mimeon kodshecha. He is looking. He's in the back. He's given man free will. See what he's going to do. You have free will. You have free will. You can do this or you cannot do it. You can do an avera or not do it. It's up to you. See? Hashem mishamayim ishkif al bnei Adam lirot hayesh maskil. For what? To see if there's anybody who is maskil, who has a little bit of consciousness. Doresh et Elohim. One who seeks out God. You know? They say, every generation, 7 generations from Adam, Cain, Enosh, and all the way down, 7 generations, they pushed Hashem 7 shamayim up. Abraham, Yitzchak, Yaakov, Levi, Moshe, I think it was Levi, Kehat, Moshe. They brought Hashem down the 7 shamayim, brought him down. The next 7 generations. What does it mean they pushed Hashem? It means that, Hashem is not in a place where there is tumah. Hashem is not in a place that there is, evil going on. Hashem removes himself. Even in your house. If you walk around your house naked or half naked, the Shekhinah is not there. Yeah, it leaves. My friend came from Miami and he came to visit us, spend Shabbat with us. He's very religious. He became Bal Teshuvah. He's a Kohen. He became very wealthy. He's a great guy, very religious. His children are very religious, all Charedim and everything. And he says, I want to see, I said, where are you going? I said, I'm going to see Rabbi Netanelli. I said, you're going to see Rabbi Netanelli? Yeah, I'm going to see Rabbi Netanelli, see what he tells me. Him and his wife, they went to see Rabbi Netanelli. Rabbi Netanelli, he says to him, the Shekhinah wants to be in your house, but you pushed away the Shekhinah. He says, how? He says, because you and all your sons are going with underwear around the house. He said, yes, it's true. And when we go in underwear, the Shekhinah leaves. It's very simple. Erva is not, the Shekhinah cannot be with the Erva when there is uncoveredness. It has to be covered. You don't have to become a nun. You don't have to make a sheet with a hole when you're having intimate relations. We're not talking about that, extreme. But we're talking about, you go undress in the bathroom, and then you put, what do you call this? Bathrobe or towel. You come out and then you get dressed. But if you run around in the room, you say, this is Shulchan Aruch. This is Halakha in Shulchan Aruch. Shiviti Adonai lenegdi tamid ki minim balebot. The person shouldn't think, I'm in the room, Hashem is not going to see me. Hashem is there. But if you uncover, then Hashem says, out of here. The Shekhinah is not Hashem. It's a manifestation of Hashem. It's a projection of Hashem. HaKadosh Baruch Hu projects the Shekhinah. But even the projection is not going to be there. And he said, Rabbi Netanelli is completely right. He's completely right. You see? So, Lirot hayesh maskil doresh et Elohim. If anybody is one who is going to seek HaKadosh Baruch Hu, because HaKadosh Baruch Hu is not going to come to you with unrealistic expectations or with unrealistic ta'anot. You know the ta'ana? You say ta'ana. Claim. So want to say, why didn't you keep Shabbat? They didn't keep Shabbat because my parents didn't keep Shabbat. I never saw Shabbat in my home. What do you want? It's not my fault. I never knew. I never said, okay. Hashem says, good, okay. You're right. Why didn't you put on tefillin? I said, tefillin? What are you talking about? My parents, my father never put on tefillin. I never saw tefillin in my house. Why didn't you keep kosher? My parents didn't have a kosher home. What do you want from me? I said, okay. But why didn't you seek me out? Why didn't you look for me? Why weren't you interested? I see that you went to meditation, you went to do yoga, you went to listen to this motivational speaker, or like some of other people, my uncle was like that. He joined the, what do you call these guys, the secret society, what's it called? The Masons, Habonim, Chofshim. He joined the Masons, and in the Masons, he did all kinds of rituals, and he had this, and he had that. And I said, okay, my uncle, he was a beautiful guy. He was so special. But because he was so special, he was so beautiful, the neshama, he had a huge neshama. He went into the Masons and got into the Masons, into doing everything that the Masons were doing, all the rituals and all the books and all that. But he wouldn't put on tefillin, he wouldn't keep Shabbat. He didn't look into it, he wasn't interested. But he was a beautiful guy, and he was very high in the Masons. Then he went to New York. In 1970, he was 50 years old. He had a son and a daughter. And he went to New York to look for a future. Because in Gibraltar was very small. So he went to look for a future in New York, and he went to New York. And in New York, he became a salesman in Macy's. And he lived in Queens. He got very depressed. He used to get on the train, because Gibraltar is a very small, homey town, Going to New York City, nobody knew him, He got cancer, and he died in the Masonic hospital. And his son told me, he said, I heard some of your classes and you teach a bit of Kabbalah. And I said, my father, before he died, he was looking into the Zohar. He was learning Zohar. He was learning Kabbalah. He left all the Masons. He was interested only in the Zohar. So you see, at that point in his life, before he died, he realized, and he started looking for Hashem. Why am I going to look in other fields, in other gardens? Why are you going to go and eat fruit in other people's trees if your backyard has the most beautiful trees? Judaism is so rich. Why are you going to go to the Masons? Are you kidding? It's a joke compared to Judaism. You see? So this is what it says here. Ishkif al bnei Adam. Hashem mishamayim ishkif al bnei Adam. Hashem is looking at the world aloof. He is hiding. But remember, concealment. He is concealed. He's hiding, but concealment does not mean abandonment. Concealment does not mean abandonment. You know what is abandonment? You abandon. No. Hashem is concealed, but He's looking to see. That's what it says. Lirot. Hayesh maskil. To see if there's anybody who's maskil. Doresh et Elohim. Who is searching for God. Who is searching for Him, like Avraham Avinu. Why the Torah all of a sudden leaves everything and focuses on Avraham Avinu? There were other tzaddikim in the time of Avraham Avinu. There were other tzaddikim. No, there was Shem. Yeah, but why? You had Shem, you have Ever, you have Melchizedek, which says Shem. You have Metushelach. But the Torah doesn't focus. It focuses on Avraham Avinu because Avraham Avinu is the only one going after Hashem. These were tzaddikim and they stay here, So Avraham Avinu is looking, Doresh. Is Doresh. Doresh means to seek out. You know what is Doresh? Doresh means I go to your house, I take all the money out. That's what Doresh is. It's taking out. It's Doresh Hashem. Where's Hashem? Where's Hashem here? Where's Hashem in here? Where's Hashem in you? Where's Hashem? He was going and bringing out Hashem in everybody. And bringing everybody close to Hashem. That's what he's looking for. And that's why he takes a step back and looking for people like this. Okay, we'll carry on next week.